G'day punters, your old mate Juppy from Star Sports Australia here with the weekend witness for this Monday morning. Now, as usual, really busy weekend. There was heaps happening. We'll kick off with the racing. Flemington, Saturday. Interesting day. Couple of decent performances there. I was in the bunker here at Star Sports and we were lucky. We managed to duck and weave and actually have a reasonable day. We got the ones beat that we needed to. Mainly the Mackay Diva, which of course is the big topic of conversation this morning with Via Sistina getting beat by Mr. B there and everyone complaining about the tempo of the race. The punting form data say basically it was the equivalent of running that race on a heavy track. They were 19.2 lengths slower to the 600 than the Group 1 benchmark. So they did go slow, but in saying that though, what I saw on the first watch through, I thought Via and there was a couple of others there were pretty plain. I wouldn't be rushing into... She still might win a Cox Plate. I wouldn't be rushing into back her now. Not that I bet early on that sort of stuff either. But yeah, is he a champion, Mr. B? He's a very, very good horse. He might be a champion to the Hayes boys, but geez, just the list of the races that he's won are the Group 1.5s for me. Like, they're not... He has run well in Cox Plates and stuff like that, but I think to be an out-and-out champion, you need to be winning those sort of races, and he just sort of hasn't at the moment. So I'm not putting the slows on him because I have been with him, and there are times that I've been against him, and I was half with him on Saturday, but yeah, it was a funny old race. There was no tempo. Frosty was a little bit stiff for going early with the whip, but he sort of needed to because they were going at basically track work pace. So don't know what to do with that. I don't know whether the form's going to be any good out of it. It was basically a trial, so might just pay you, forget it and move on. But yeah, she just looked a little bit plain for me. Earlier in the day, Revelare won the Archer and got his ticket into the Melbourne Cup. He's the sort of horse that if he was 50 or 60 to 1 at the call of the card on the Monday, whether he will be that price, we don't know what the field looks like. We saw that one win over there for Joseph O'Brien overnight over there at Leopardstown. It's going to get a big weight. Hopefully it takes up a chunk of market percentage so that I can half be against it in the Cup. Because I think I would be keen to be... Anything that's got that sort of weight, you need to be a very special horse to be winning that. Revelare just looks tough. When those horses came at him, and I was on him on Saturday, when the horses came at him, I thought, what's going to happen here? And he just finds. He's a real line finder. He loves a fight, and that's going to take you a long way. High pressure 3,200, who knows? But at 40, 50, 60 to 1 and a quarter of the odds each way, I'm probably prepared to find out come the call of the card on the first Tuesday in November. So it was the other thing is, I know we've had pretty good weather conditions here in Victoria, but again, hats off to Liam O'Keefe there at the VRC. Geez, he does a good job. That track's it is clearly the best in Australia. Sandown's probably number 2, but we're blessed here in Victoria that we have very good metropolitan racing services to run on. Now in Sydney there on Saturday,
stand by for a start.
2 races I wanted to touch on. Theo Marks.
Autumn Glow's jumped out
what
really
a performance
well.
by Autumn Glow.
She's jumped out very well as the initial leader, but there's some pressure early. Espionage
proper horse.
General Salute put up on
good
the
talent, dominant win. Put it in the black book.
From straight A. So
it's one you want to keep following through the spring.
Firing up
now,
on the outside of NCAP.
The Run of the Rose
back last of all, showing great speed.
Was the race before that, which was taken out by Tempted. Now, I probably need to change my thinking, and I might be slow to it, but these Godolphin horses aren't trained by James anymore. The last sort of 6 months, maybe more, Godolphin were only just going, and I was keen to lay them.
So the long Espionage, a 2-length leader on the bend. General Salute's got a length in front of the favourite Autumn Glow. Just being niggled a little bit by McAvoy and starting to pick up.
Which I've been saying for a while. Said that through the 2-year-old series and that. The other highlight of Sydney was I did the pros versus bookies segment went on Betfair on Friday where I took on my old mate, the Glenstoke, Glenn Pollitt there from the Racing Rant, and managed to get the better of him. He backed a couple of place getters that were decent odds. So depending on how you handle it, you could have won off both of us. So definitely check that out each Friday morning as we go forward through the spring, because I've been pretty accommodating and took a few on, and it's been very interesting. Now, AFL. What a weekend. Brisbane were dominant. I backed Gold Coast and found out the hard way. I thought Gold Coast were in good form, but they got handled by Brisbane there on Saturday night. That was as dominant a performance as you'll see, and what you want to see rolling into the preliminary final weekend this weekend. Which was, it's going to be a ripping weekend coming up. But yeah, I wasn't that taken by Hawthorn. Adelaide have been disappointing in their two finals appearances. So yeah, you can leave me out of Adelaide, and you can sort of leave me out of Hawthorn. So it depends on which game style they get, either Collingwood or Brisbane, who gets on top. But I think they'll play Geelong in the grand final, and it'll be a cracking grand final. NRL. Geez, I was impressed with the Storm. I was really taken by the Storm. I backed them, and at halfway, sort of the 2/3 mark, I was wondering what was going to happen. And yeah, geez, they kicked on in that last third and really put them away. So they're in my eyes the deserved favourite to win the flag now. You had that epic game yesterday in Canberra. The angry punter managed to make an appearance down there. And again, he was on the wrong side of it. I saw he was there in his Canberra beanie, even though the last time I checked he was a West supporter. But he was down there cheering on the Raiders. But yeah, they got pipped in Golden Point, which some may consider a bad beat. I've seen a worse one this weekend. We'll get to that in a little while. NFL. Well, I reckon we saw a proper Super Bowl contender on Friday there. Green Bay Packers. They've looked pretty impressive through their first two games. They've got to be in the top 1, 2, 3 teams in the league at the moment. They've got to be right up there on your power ratings. The price has sort of gone on them to win the Super Bowl at the minute, but yeah, they've got to be in your calculations. And my Colts this morning, my old mate Nath Holt was on the receiving end of it on this morning. He was on Denver, and what an end to the game that was. It was quite unique where basically on the last play, the Colts needed a field goal to win the game from about 60-odd yards. He's missed wide right, meaning that Denver had won the game, but there was a penalty on that last play for leverage where one of the defenders tried to jump over the pile to try and smother the ball, which means that they got a 15-yard penalty, and it brought the kick in from about 45 yards or something, which he put straight through the middle, and it meant the Colts won. So that was a save your tears for another day. That was a sick beat. So bad luck, Nath. Yeah, you can see how much I'm really, really crying for you. Yeah, NFL has been brilliant. Another game that was today. Atlanta took care of Minnesota. I don't know where Minnesota are at. They don't look very good at all. Boxing. Great card of boxing yesterday, and also well done to Netflix. There'd been some issues with some of the streams earlier, and they've got their shit together. That was a flawless stream, worked really well, did no buffering, no nothing, so hats off to them. And also the matchmakers. All those fights on that card yesterday were really, really, really good. The Canelo-Crawford fight, if you watched the video yesterday of what was happening, I tipped Crawford. He's very good from range, and that's what he did really, really well. Canelo came back in the later rounds, but Crawford had just won too many rounds, and the right result was had there. So that was really, really a good card and a good show. So well done to everyone involved there. And at a packed Allegiant Stadium, geez, that's an impressive facility in downtown Vegas there. I'll be keen to get over there at some point. Now, speaking of boxing, and it's been a bloody sad week. The week just gone, we lost Charlie Kirk. we lost Ricky Hatton in the last 48 hours. He was at the peak of his powers when I lived in the UK. He was a brilliant fighter, tough. I just hope that he has donated his body to science so that they can have a look and check his brain to see if there was CTE that might have led to this. It's just a shocking situation. And also another sport that's dear to my heart in the WNBL. We lost Tiana Mangakahia there Friday to breast cancer at just the age of 30. And beautiful girl, beautiful person, really talented baller, great shooter. All her teammates, whether it was at Syracuse over in college or here in the WNBL, she touched all of them, and it's just such a shame that we've lost her.
Or visit the website.
She was an opal, like she was a good player, and just such a sad situation. So it is a little bit of a dampener there to finish on. But all in all, it was a pretty interesting weekend. It's a really peak time of the year, I reckon, for the good spring horses are back. The footy's at the pointy end. The NFL's just kicking off and starting to shake out. So there's plenty to get involved in. And if you want to take me on, I'll be out there at the Bendigo Trots on Wednesday night. Otherwise, starsports.com.au. Download the app. Get involved, punters, because we're happy to take you on. So tune in next week, and we'll see what I've witnessed over the Bendigo Footy League Grand Final weekend. Good luck, punters.